School choice. That's the big thing right now going on. Now I want to tell all parents who really care about their children's education and care about them beyond the education when they become adults. This book of mine is a must-read book. It'll help you to make a list of the questions you want to ask in that private school before you sign your child up for that private school. The Torments of the Modest Secluded Farm Life is my true life story. I'm Doris Ann Boyer. And this takes you to being grown up, kind of in the country for me, on the farm, but going to a private school where your life is kind of sheltered around just those in that school. Because that's where most of your day is. Then it's go home, do your homework, and whatever chores and get to bed and start all over the next morning. But you have to be able to go from that life of being homeschooled, kind of a little sheltered there, to the harsh world as we know it today. Now there's a really big difference between the two. And you'll learn that putting your child in a private school, that difference is so much greater than if they were in a public school. So the questions you will want to ask, you can find in my book. Because it takes you through that private, sheltered schooling, private school, to the harsh world, and everything I had to go through. All the trauma, because mentally, emotionally, there's an awful lot you're going to go through when you walk into that world as an adult when you weren't prepared for it. Lucky for me, I had someone who helped to guide me through it all. But for the girls, especially the girls, not so much on the boys, even though they're still going to have to go through an adjustment, learning that, people are not as good as their word, and people can deceive you. There's a lot you have to learn about that outside world. So it's almost like private school needs another part of the education. You've got to have that gap filled. And that's the most important question that any parent who wants to homeschool or put them in private school, whichever simple form of schooling other than putting them in public school, you're going to want to read this book. Because you get to read it all. Every feeling, the thoughts, everything I had to go through. And no, you don't want your child in that, but yet you want them in a private school because it's so much safer for them. So there's a lot in between, that balance you need to find, but the book will give you all the questions you need to ask. Which, of course, the most important is how do you fill that gap to get them prepared for the real world that they're going to have to live in, even though you want to protect them in the private school. So the book will give you a lot of questions. Make your list as you go through that. You don't want your child to go through this. You don't want your child to go through that. You want to make sure they're going to be okay as adults, especially for the girls as they become mothers. You're going to want things to be all right beyond the 18 years you give them. Okay? So this is a really good book to read for parents who want to do their homework and make that list to ask that private school before you sign your child up. Okay? Because I know the private school thing is a thing of the future. It's going to be the best way to go. But you got questions you got to ask. Okay? So go ahead and order that book, read that book, make your list out, and go visit that private school. We got a good president that's giving you school choice. Make good use of it, okay? You can also check out my YouTube channel. This is one of them. I also have View With Me and View With Me 2. View With Me 2 has a lot of bugs for the children. View With Me is about to get Mimi's Science Lab, We're waiting for our microscope to come in. We've collected our bugs because that's something that I have 6 grandchildren who live on my property. And that's something that we've been collecting. We're getting ready for it. We're investigating them. So I can't wait to start that. And that will be on my YouTube channel, View With Me. So it's coming up soon. So you get something to look forward to. This one here is all about my antiques, my stamps, antiques, postcards, all kinds of antiques, buttons, jewelry, whatever I find, books. Okay, and then I have a lot of coins. A lot of coins and stamps. So, stay tuned to my YouTube videos, and by all means, get that book. Alright, this is what I've been doing today. Bye-bye.